Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss the last and final episode of season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. The reunion concludes with the second and last part. I just watched the final episode. I have a few things to say. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. We're going to go through what went down, and at the end of this video and throughout, I will be giving you guys my unfiltered opinion about it all. So let's get right into it. We pick up where we left off. Courtney and Manetta join the ladies. Courtney and Drew are going at it. Courtney she's very tired. I think she needs to get some sleep or get a job maybe, or get something else to do, because this is definitely not her calling. What I will give her is that she looked beautiful. The hair was laid, the dress was very pretty, the face was beat. Gorgeous woman. I think one of the best dressed in this reunion. But nonetheless, I think she is really in the gray zone with Ralph. It's giving very much Secret Lovers, allegedly. And that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll touch on that later. So they discuss about the things that she said on her hot mic moment when she was spilling the tea on Ty and Drew, and that was a very desperate reach for an iconic moment, I believe, because she damn sure knew that those cameras were still rolling. So I do not think her playing dumb does her any favors with that. Anyways, we then move on to Sanya, and she is, recounting how she went through her miscarriage in New York in February of this year. And it was again, if you watch my recap on that episode where she shared how everything went down with her miscarriage, I was moved to tears. I cried. First time I think I've cried in a long time while watching the Real Housewives. And I just think that even if I do not see the housewife it factor for Sanya, and I've said that I don't think she brings that much to the show, I think her story is powerful. I think it can resonate with a lot of women out there. And I applaud her for sharing it and being vulnerable. And as Kenya already said, pregnancy looks amazing on Miss Sonia Richards-Ross, okay? Do not get it twisted. She has those filled out high cheekbones, the pregnancy glow, a beautiful tummy in that dress, and still, she's just glowing all around in this pregnancy. It's doing her justice. And if she does come back for the next season as a friend of, or even as a full-time housewife, I won't be that mad. I'll definitely stick around to watching her storyline, because even though I do not, again, see it for her, she is the only one that does show everything and is very vulnerable. One of the few, so... yeah, we then move on to Marlo's dating thing and her issue that she had with Candy about her late nephew passing away actually being shot by his roomie that he met at Candy's restaurant. And they touch on that, and I'm still not again going to repeat myself over and over again, because I think every time I recap an episode, I fear that it's all basically the whole same thing that I'm saying, because the storylines this season, let's be honest, have not been, the greatest and the most deep. They've been very superficial. It's giving very much recycling, and I'm not going to repeat what note Candy and Marla left on. They're going to be cordial and moving on, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, from Sanya, they do move to Kenya. Andy's asking Kenya in what point she is in her journey with expanding her family and giving her daughter Brooklyn a potential new sibling. And she said that she has basically given the pregnancy thing a rest and laid that down because it is very risky for her, and that she is looking into adopting a child. So I'm very excited for Miss Kenya, and I think adoption is a great option for her. There are a lot of kids, babies, and teenagers out there looking for a home to be cared for and cherished. And I think with the way that Kenya handles herself in her mother role, she is the perfect fit to give that love to multiple kids, to multiple children. So we then actually have a little tiff between Sheree and Candy because, the audiences, now we're on Candy's segment, are asking, which is called for Sheree is asking, why don't you take a break since you are so busy and choose to not show up for certain things when the girls are filming? And it is an ensemble cast, and I'm really on the fence about Candy this season because I like Candy. I like her very productive nature that she has and her very productive, force that she puts into all her business ventures and work. And no matter what and how, she's always going to get that bag. She's always going to be well fed. She's always going to care for her family. And I do appreciate that. And I think business-wise, Candy is the perfect thing to display on Atlanta alongside maybe Kenya and Sanya as well for this season. I think they've stepped it up in the business realm of it all. Sanya maybe a little bit more in the last season because this season she's focusing a bit more on her family. But let's get back to Candy. So Candy's like, well, you guys, I've actually shown up and shown out because she is displaying everything. She is displaying the relationship with Mama Joyce and Todd. She is displaying the mess that has been going on in her restaurants. She is displaying the mess that has been going on with, past and present friendships, and has been also very vulnerable with family matters of her that do, partake in her storyline. And I definitely have to agree, even if production chose to not show a few things that include her storyline. And I've watched her speak on it about this finale, and I have to say, some things that she says I do have to agree more on than others. And the fact that maybe production does not have the budget to display and follow her along her multiple journeys is maybe a factor as to why production chose to not include her as much in this season. So, yeah. Sheree quickly claps back because Candy's a little bit, pressed, and says, you would know a lot about taking breaks, Sheree, because we all know Sheree has been the most fired and rehired housewife in the Housewives history, I believe. And Sheree quickly comes back with, she had to come back because the girls were very much giving lackluster at multiple points of the show in the seasons. And I definitely have to give Sheree her flowers for this reunion because she was less stuttery. She was more on her 2 feet. She brought some receipts. She was messy sometimes, a bit too messy, maybe even with some wrong intentions, but I think she definitely clocked in a way where we haven't seen her as activated as in the past. But then now let me think. We have talked Marlo, Candy, Kenya, Drew, not Sheree, Sonia, Courtney, and Manetta. And now we are going to go ahead and move on to the last segment of this reunion, which is Miss Drew Sidora. Drew is very much already teary-eyed whilst bringing up the whole mess with her marriage. And at this point, Ralph is joining the women outside. Drew is pulling out another prop and actually handing him a peach because that is what he did come for today. She was very visibly, upset by his attendance to the reunion. And basically, to sum it all up, everything they've said to each other is a contradiction. Any point that Drew made, Ralph would go against. Any point that Ralph made, Drew would go against. I feel like when two individuals just cannot seem to cooperate and communicate together, it is not really possible to come to certain conclusions and to really, see an end result. And I really feel bad for the kids. I really hope that they do find common ground to not involve them and to keep them both as non-involved and neutral in this matter. Because Ralph, let me say, this is very messy. He is manipulative. He is very dismissive. He is a master manipulator. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care if Drew lied about one thing. I don't care if Drew lied about 100 things. I am, in this particular recap, a Drew apologizer, because as Kenya then read Ralph for filth in the most respectful way ever when Drew actually left the whole stage and the whole set because she just couldn't take it anymore because she was expressing how she feels, and he immediately says, well, Drew, you're acting right now, stop it. That is so damaging. I cannot stress how damaging that is to someone's mental health. And, the whole reasoning behind Ralph's commitment to this last segment was that he said he wants to set the record straight and dismiss headlines that are out there in the press about him as a father, and that he is not a mental abuser, and that he is not a deadbeat, and that he's not a serial cheater. But by the way you are talking to your wife, by the way your behavior is coming to fruition in the second part of the reunion, we can clearly tell everything that she says you are not interested in. We can clearly tell behind those eyes, the lights are on but nobody's home. We can clearly tell the only reason you came here is to definitely wash your image down from the dirt that you have put up on it. And that is all your fault, Mr. Ralph Pittman. Allegedly, this is all just my personal opinion. Don't you dare come for me, because we all know these housewives and these house husbands that think they are so important want to strike people's channels down, but I am simply repeating facts that are already out there in the social media, so you can suck. Never mind. Anyways, we can also tell that by the way you engage with your alleged cousin, I do not know what kind of relationship you have going on. I do not know how close-knit you are. I just know that those eyes that she gives you could be interpreted as something a bit more personal than just cousins. And I think everybody listening to this is feeling what I'm trying to say. And just log on Twitter, you'll go all over it and you'll see what I'm trying to say. I'm I digress. Also, we see before Ralph's arrival, we see Courtney and Ralph, meeting up in his trailer where they probably keep the rats. Oh my god, I am getting so heated. I just hate that man because I recognize these patterns of emotional trauma in Drew because I just feel for her. I really do feel for her, even if she is the biggest liar on the face of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, even if she does stutter and stumble upon her own words. I think I'm a Drew apologizer. That's all. I'm getting off track. Courtney actually tries to slam the door behind, actually in front of Allison's face while Allison was talking to Courtney to not get into her face. And let me tell you this. Allison, Drew's sister, is probably that type of B to F up a bitch and go to jail and not care, but do it for her sister because that's how much respect and loyalty and love she has to her sister. Something that Ralph could have had for Drew in all those years that they were married. But again, I digress. So this whole thing is going on for the last few minutes of the reunion. They are trying to talk it out. They are giving each other receipts. Drew is bringing out something where women are messaging her and showing her screenshots. We see a booty pic. We see something in the sense of, when are you going to bring me back that D? And, also Sheree with the fake screenshots that probably Ralph took to Chateau Sheree and delivered is, in my opinion, I think very pathetic. And even if he did find something out about her cheating again, that's just, that's a karmic response. I'm sorry, Drew, if she did that, if she allegedly did hook up with Tai Young, that's his karma. That's definitely an eye for an eye. That's definitely something that he deserves. But yeah, anyways, Drew even storms off at one point because she's just so not taking it anymore. None of the ladies really cared that much, I felt like. I think it's sad that the alliances in this show are not very much friendship-like, because I remember in season 12 when Nene was on for her last season, and I believe Cynthia and Nene, or Cynthia and the friend of Nene, had this whole thing. Everybody was there for her, rallying for Cynthia. They were all outside checking up on each other, and I kind of miss that. I miss that dynamic. I miss how the women would show up for each other, and it truly felt like you were watching those friendships be tested but still glorify in these moments where they could all be there for each other and really prove how much respect and love they had. But those are old times. Anyways, Sonia and Moneta do eventually get up and go check up on Drew, and she does eventually come back. She sings her new single, Throw Us Away, directly to Ralph, and that was a very awkward scene. I'm not gonna lie, the song was cute, the song was good. Drew has a beautiful voice. She's still a bit shaken up from, the whole discourse and a bit emotional with it all. But it definitely was one of the most cringiest moments that I've ever witnessed on a reunion. But it, again, was nice to see how everything that she says really does not go into his mind. He's just... The narcissism he displayed on this part of the reunion was astronomical. It was something out of this world. And again, I'm all here for Drew leaving him. I really do hope they do not end up getting back together. And none of the women that truly are Drew's friend should advocate for them to go back to each other. And yes, they may have been a blended family already, and yes, it may get more blended if they get a divorce, but sometimes it's just best to cut ties where it's just not... there's no purpose to trying to have reconciliation with someone that really does not want and actively chooses to not hear you. That was basically it. The ladies end with the I am loving, a loving affirmation for each other. Sheree has the last word. She is saying that she won't give up on the group and she will try to bring the sisterhood back to ATL. And everybody's receiving it. They all toast with a bit of champagne and water. And that is it for season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. What a season, what a ride. It's been interesting to say the least. Those are my thoughts on the reunion. I thought it was an okay reunion. I think the first part was a little bit more exciting than this one, but nonetheless, altogether, I think we've had way better reunions. But yeah, I hope that the feedback of the fans and of it all in social media does teach production to reconsider and change up a few things with this cast for next season. And you guys, I honestly hope that they do not get a reboot, because I would be just heartbroken to see like 60% or 70% of this cast go. That I feel like, in addition with a few newbies and maybe some other OGs, could reach maximum potential to be something that maybe Atlanta once was. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. Thank you for listening to this video. And like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell in the comments down below. And look out on my for my next episode of Housewives Rant with G, where I am going to pretty much give my ultimate drawn out opinion of this whole season 15. I will give opinions to every single one that participated in the season, be it housewife or friend of or some house husbands. So be on the lookout for that, probably in the next day. And I will see you guys in my SLC recap. And again, thanks so much for watching. Bye.